Alright, sorry for not doing this in a while. It's been really busy with marching band stuff, but I'll make this episode a longer one, as you see. Alright, last time I think we went to the video game tournament where we beat PBG. That was pretty fun. Anyway, we fell through the doorway exhausted with barely enough energy to change into our PJs. I leapt under a bed with a happy sigh. Oh, Hana, I'm so glad you came to Asagao. As if this couldn't have happened without me here. I shoved her face into her pillow and emitted a muffled reply. Yeah, whatever you say. I fell into my bed, staring at the rungs that kept my inner mattress from collapsing onto me and smothering me to death in the night. That was really fun. Video games are fun, Mai. Really? She shuffled around on top of her bed. I mean, I thought it was okay. It was passable. Don't know if I'd call it super fun or anything. No? I loved it. She chuckled. Seems like you found your calling. I'm sure I have. Above me, Mai yawned. Let's go to sleep. I'm exhausted. Smiling, I got up and turned out our light. Good night, Hana. Good night, Mai. As the chill weather of early spring faded and warmth stretched across Asagao, I itched to go outside. With Satch's book in hand, I took to the streets. Since many people realized how rare this moment was, most of the usual benches and grassy spots were taken. I kept walking until I came to the soccer field. There was a practice game being held, and PBG and his friend Jeff were running across the field. Being a skirmish, the bleachers were almost completely empty. Students scattered the shiny metal seats, but there was more than enough room for me. In one swift motion, practiced many times over my life, I sat down, spun my backpack into the space next to me, and pulled out my book. I was nearly done with it, and I wanted to see if I could finish it today. It was due a few days ago, so I was under pressure. At a pause in my reading, I looked up to watch PBG on the field. A shock of color at the base of the bleachers caught my eye. It looked like some kind of metallic candy wrapper, and a ping of annoyance struck me. There's a trash can nearby. Why litter? Jerks. I don't really like litters either. It's kind of stupid. But as I jumped down the steps of the bleacher and nearly slipped off one, it became clear that it wasn't trash. The colors changed as the angle of the light did. It was an iridescent purple figurine, itty-bitty, and a kitty. Was it George? Gerard's? He was the only person I knew who collected them. I held it up to the nearest student, who shook his head. I was free for a while. Gerard was really into the IBK scene, so if it wasn't his, he'd probably know who it belonged to. One problem, I had no idea where his room was. Conveniently, at that moment, PG ran off the field to get a drink. I approached him, holding the kitty in front of myself like a talisman. Hey, PPG, do you know Gerard's room number? I think he dropped this. I held the kitty up again, and it glimmered in the sun. Much like PPG, just now, with all this physical activity. Oh, Gerard is just here. It has to be his. I asked him to bring me my goalie gloves. I wasn't ready to take Mick Jones's place today. His room is right across from mine. Oh, great. Thank you so much. Hurry up, PPG. PPG groaned. It wasn't much of a break. Gotta go. Good luck. He took a huge gulp from his water bottle, then poured the rest on his head and jumped back into the game. His teammates patted him on the back as he rejoined them. I placed the IBK into my uniform's Lilliputian pocket and headed to Bluebell. Okay. As I entered Bluebell House, a passing boy frowned at me. Was I even allowed to be here by myself? I shook my head. There was no time to be afraid. Today I had a mission. Just as PPG said, there was a door right across his room. I knocked and fished the IBK from my pocket. Oh, hello. I forgot you two were roommates. Shane answered the door, not at all pleased to see me. Hi, Shane, how are you? He was Gerard's roommate? Why was he Gerard's roommate? I tried to laugh to diffuse the situation, but it was weak. I felt like I was only making things worse. I didn't know what went on in Shane's mind. He looked at the IBK in my hands. Gerard should be back in a few minutes. Okay, I'll just wait in the common room. When he gets back, can you tell him to try and find me? I could read downstairs. Even if it took Gerard an hour to get back, I could keep myself occupied. Shane sighed and leaned against the doorframe. I could tell him, but it would be much easier if you waited in here. He put his hand out, gesturing me inside. All right, thanks. Oh, look at that one! Oh, it's so cute. Sorry, I'm a little sick. I entered the room and stood smack in the middle of it. Shane plopped into a chair in front of what must have been his desk. I sat down in what assumed to be Gerard's chair on the opposite side. Shane swiveled around and started to click something on his laptop. Seeing as he wasn't much for small talk, I turned to observing the room. The room was well decorated, one could say. There were a lot of itty-bitty kitties, each arranged neatly with its brethren of similar design. Every empty space not filled with school-related objects was covered by the pads of a cute little cat, or at least the sealed box of one. Even parts of Shane's shelves had IBK on them. I had to admit, it was kind of endearing. Something about this dedication required was sweet. Do you collect itty-bitty kitties too? Not really. They're Gerard's. I don't mind. I see. It's kind of niche. I'm surprised you're into them. Oh no, I don't collect them. I just found this one on the side of the field. PBG said Gerard was there earlier, so I came to find out whether it was his. Hastiness to disown the figure did not go unnoticed by Shane, who made a face at me. If it's not Gerard's, he'll probably know whose it is, right? It's probably Gerard's. I smoothed my thumb with a plastic kitty absent-mindedly. Shane returned to whatever he was doing online, and I conversed with the figure in my hand. Oh, he's a pretty kitty. Oh, I thought I talked to my kitty. Oh. Gerard came back about 2 minutes later. Hey, Shane. And Hana? He held 2 copies in his hands. Suddenly he turned pink. And what are you two doing in here? Alone? Together? We're not doing anything. Hana was looking for you. Really? How can I help, Hana? He gave a copy to Shane and offered the other one to me. Here, take mine. I would have gotten you one, too, if I knew you were here. Sorry. That's really nice of you, but no thanks. I just came to see if this was yours. Though it felt like the 10th time in the last half hour I displayed the itty-bitty kitty. Oh, yes! Gerard almost dropped his coffee as he leapt forward. I lost this today. Where did you find it? It was near the field. PBG told me you were there earlier, so I wanted to give it back to you. I handed the figure to Gerard, who looked about ready to kiss it. Thank you, Hana. Thank you. You didn't have to do this, but you did, and I don't know what I would have done without you. It wasn't any trouble at all. It looked pretty rare. It's not as rare as you would think, but it's still very special to me. I'm so glad you were the one to find it. I shouldn't have been so careless. Don't beat yourself up about it. What matters now is that you have it back. Maybe zip up your pockets next time? You bet I'll take a load of precautions to make sure this never happens again. He placed it delicately on the shelf with the other kitties that had the same iridescent properties. Gerard looked at me while I viewed his hard-earned assemblage. Oh, duh, Gerard, you dummy. How rude of me to at least introduce you to my collection. Sorry. In this room I have 247 itty-bitty kitties of every shape and size. This is the newest set, the Catastrophes. They're a band. They're really popular right now. I traded my rare extras for these the other day. The one you brought back to me is a set of 4 that are called Opalescents. Currently they're the only shinies. They were so pretty, my gaze fixated on them. I'm just missing the last opalescent. It's a purple one, Princess Pumpernickel. I've tried everywhere, but no one has them in stock. But there's only 3 copies in the world, so it's not really surprising. Click. It's more surprising that I managed to get these ones. I have one of the most complete collections in the world. People think that the Kitties Company gives me the newest figures, but I earn all my ABK. I could tell this took a lot of hard work. I'm amazed at how much effort you've put into this. He sighed heavily and sat down on his bed. Thanks, Hana. I just wish I could get that last figure. I could finish my collection, and the kitties would have all their friends together in one place. I wish I could help. Don't worry about it, Hana. This is my battle to fight. I nodded, then glanced at my watch. Oh, I should go. I really wanted to finish my book today, but if you ever need help, I'm here. I stood up, then waved to the both of them. Bye, Hana. Thanks again. See ya. Thankfully, I managed to finish my book. It took more time than I expected, though, and by the time I got back to my room, it was dark outside. When I opened the door to my room, the lights were off. I flicked them on, and the huddled form of Mai hugging a stuffed purple bear appeared on her bed. I'm back. Mai glanced at me, then buried her face again in her bear. Was she sulking? It wasn't like her to be so unenergetic. Are you okay? That doesn't sound very okay. Mai glanced at me again, her face all light shade of pink, like she was holding her breath. You know, you can tell me anything. You've helped me out a lot, so it's the least I could do in return, right? Besides, we're friends. Mai sighed and threw the bear on the floor, where it lay as if screaming in agony. I thought we were friends. It's not fair, she sighed again. I know it's terrible to think like this, but even though I'm really happy for you getting to be friends with those guys, it's just not fair. Those guys? Who? The Normal Boots Club? It's just that I've been a fan of them for so long, and I've loved Jared forever. And then here you come out of the blue with your pink hair, and just like that, you're friends. She snapped her fingers in front of her face. But here I've been trying this whole time, and Jared didn't even know my name. I know I'm being stupid. I feel bad, but I still... Well, they're her friends, too. Yeah, they're your friends, too. Mai smiled weakly at me. They wouldn't be my friends if it wasn't for you. Mai, I'm going to sleep. She turned over and closed her eyes without even taking off her uniform. I turned off the light and walked to the bear she threw in the middle of the room. I'm sorry, too. I said it quietly, but even as the words left my lips, I knew they were a lie. Oh. Despite our slight confrontation last night, Mai was peppy as usual the next day. It seemed like there was no reason for me to worry, but that didn't mean I didn't. The bell rang and class started. Miss Shizuka wrote origami flowers on the board in an ornate script, then turned to glare at the class. The flower festival is only a few days away. It's time again to start folding flowers to sell for the school. We do this every year, guys. I don't want to hear any groans. You're free to write me an essay on the importance of these funds for the school if you'd rather not participate. A few students rolled their eyes, but I smiled. It sounded kind of fun, and I hadn't folded origami in years. I'm handing out practice sheets because I know how bad you guys are at origami. I'm only going to teach you once, so pay attention. Shizuka returned to the front of the class, picking an ornate green paper. As she instructed the class, I realized that they were the most basic version of origami flowers. I was already familiar with them. I folded my practice paper with ease while Shizuka roamed the room, helping the students who struggled to follow along. These creases are weak. Kindergartners could do better than this. Hell, my ex could do better than this. Sadness passed across Miss Shizuka's face. She turned to the boy next to her and slammed her hand on his desk. You need to be better. Be better for everyone's sakes. Well, seemed like a few students were having trouble. I went to the front of the class to get some new paper, passing John on the way back to my seat. His paper caught my eye. You folded this the wrong way. Your flower is going to be narrow if you keep going. I'll be honest with you, Hana. I have no idea what I'm doing. Help me. He kind of looked like he was about to cry. I knelt by his desk, unfolding and refolding his paper. This looks perfect. You're so good at origami. Did you have to make flowers at your old school, too? No, I used to do origami a lot when I was younger. I guess muscle memory just kicked in. Thanks, though. Really? What an odd skill to have. Is it? Please. John clasped a hand around my wrist. Stay with me. Help me. Sure, if you need it. I knew I could count on you. Thank you, Hana. You're a goddess. I spent the entire rest of the class period slowly doling out lessons to John and PPG. I offered to help Shane, but he turned away from me, instead watching over John's shoulder. I kept my movements large and exaggerated so he could see, too. It was nice to feel useful. When class was over, I headed back to the dorms with Mai. We had a long night ahead of us, filled with homework and the possible reward of chocolate ice cream should we finish on time. But before I got far, someone called my name. Hana, Jeff, is everything okay? The Normal Boots Club has a meeting today, and PPG forgot to take his soccer uniform with him. He held up a blue and gold uniform. He won't have much time to change before practice if he doesn't have this, and I have to run down to the field. Can you take it for me? Of course we can. I grabbed the uniform from Jeff. Awesome, thanks. He dashed towards the field. Mai turned to me, victory running through her face. Finally, a chance to see Jared in his element. Come on, Hana, we've got to hurry. We approached the Normal Boots Club room, hearts thumping nervously. At least I assumed Mai's was, judging by the way she was fidgeting like a hummingbird on acid. It was. We stepped up to the door and were about to knock when I heard my name on someone's lips. Hana. I froze and turned to Mai. Her face was lit and she pressed a finger to her lips. She leaned in closer to the door and I followed suit. Dude, I think it's fine. What do you think she's gonna do to us? You need to calm down. But it's so pink. No one has hair like that. People can't choose their hair color, Shane. That's a really poor reason to judge someone. I know, but I don't trust people with pink hair. You know there's more to it than just the color. Don't deny it. Weird things always happen around people with pink hair. Sure, but they're not dangerous. Aren't they? My heart sank. I stepped away from the door, unwilling to hear more. Hana, I held up my hand and shook my head. Just when I thought I was beginning to win Shane over. Was this how he truly felt about me? I'm heading back. No, but... I stepped past her, walking as quickly as I could back to the dorms. Luckily, I didn't pass anyone on my way back. I didn't think I could manage small talk without bursting into tears after what happened. I kicked off my shoes and went to set my backpack down by my desk, passing the mirror. I paused as I did so, turning to the mirror, evaluating myself on a whole new level. So much grief. My hair caused me so much grief over the course of my life. Now, for some reason, Shane thought I was suspicious. I smoothed my hair with my hands, the shortness of it catching me by surprise. It was softer when it was long. With a sigh, I turned away and collapsed onto my bed, hugging Mr. Bunny to my chest. Should I dye my hair, Mr. Bunny? I raised him up, staring into his glassy eyes. Yeah, you're right. It's not that natural pink hair. I think it's kind of cool. There's freaking brown. It's annoying. I rolled onto my side, squeezing Mr. Bunny to my chest. Satch said it himself. You don't choose your natural hair color. Mr. Bunny was small against me, and I smiled at him. At least he still liked me. Shaking my head, I went to my desk. I had better things to do than mope. You're still studying, Hannah? I took my headphones out of my ears and turned to Mai. Our plans for that evening were postponed, and I silently thanked her for not pushing me to keep to them. I wasn't in the mood anymore. Yeah, it's only been a few hours. You haven't moved since I left the room last night. Sorry. She climbed her bed and dangled her hands off the side. At least take a break, okay? Well, I have been meaning to return the book I checked out. It was overdue and I had to do it at some point. I was going to do it today, but after what happened, it was the last thing I wanted. That didn't make it any less overdue, though. Go do that. Meet me at dinner afterward. If you're going to spend the rest of your life studying, at least be nutritionalized. I stretched, bent backwards to apologize to my back for the hours of ache arcing over desk. I'd have a hunchback by the end of my school year, I was sure. You're right, I'll go. I'll see you at dinner. It was pretty late when I got to the library. No one came at this time unless there was a term paper due. Since it was still relatively early in the year, the room was barren. Satch was working the desk, as I expected, but he was joined by PPG and Paul. As soon as I saw them, I turned around, trying to walk right back out, but... Hey, Hannah. Unfortunately, my hair also made me stick out like a sore thumb. I reluctantly joined them at the counter. What's up? Not much. I'm taking a study break to return the book I checked out. I took the book out of my bag and handed it to Sash. That book. I can't help but notice you're reading The Princess Betrothed. It's good, isn't it? Yeah, I never would have read it without such a suggestion, so I have to thank him. He nodded and put the book on the to-be-sorted shelf. No problem. I don't work in the library for nothing. I have another suggestion for you if you need one. No thanks. I want to get back to the dorms. Oh, come on. It's almost dinner. Let him check out the Greek book for you. Then we can all go to the cafeteria together. Well, all right. That was the last thing I wanted to do. But I was really bad at showing people that I didn't want to talk. Follow me to the fiction section. We set off through the library on an epic quest for adventure and fortune. My mind raced, trying to think of a good excuse so I didn't have to follow them to the cafeteria. Here it is, the Banana Club. He pulled a bright yellow book off the shelves. The Banana Club was written across in a bold font. Now, I know it sounds stupid. Looks kind of stupid, too, honestly, but trust me, one of the most moving books I've ever read. The ending crushed me. He put a fist to his mouth and blinked rapidly. Don't cry now, Satch. I'm going to stop before I spoil everything. He handed the book to me, and I gazed blankly at the cover. Thanks, Satch. And, Hannah? Huh? Are you all right? You don't look very well. I wasn't, really, but of course there was no way I was going to tell Satch that I eavesdropped on their private conversation. I am, just feeling a little under the weather. I conjured a fake cough. It sounded pathetic. I think I'm going to skip out on dinner, too. I'm not feeling well enough. Satch narrowed his eyes and nodded. If you say so. Do you still want to read this book? Yes, I do. Your suggestions haven't failed me so far. Okay, let me check it out to you real quick so you can get back and rest. When we got back, PPG and Paul were off on the other side of the room, Paul waving a book vehemently at PPG. Satch stepped behind the counter and grabbed my book. You know, if something is bothering you or you're still getting used to the school, we're all here for you to talk to. I know. Transfers have it the hardest around here, and everyone knows that. I nodded. He passed the book to me, and I put it in my backpack. Just don't be a stranger, all right? I won't. Thanks, Satch. I'll see you tomorrow. I waved goodbye to him and made my way back to the dorm. Somehow Satch always knew when I was upset and how to make me feel better. It helped that Paul and PPG weren't acting any different to me than normal either. Maybe it really was just Shane with the problem, whatever problem that was. Hannah? I looked up. John was standing just in front of my desk, eyes glittering. Yes? I need you in my play. Please, Hannah. John grabbed my shoulders. I'm shaking so much I felt like I was vibrating. The drama club, our play this year. We're doing Romeo and Juliet. I've been thinking about it for so long. I couldn't have just anyone, and I wasn't finding someone to fit my particular needs. But then you come along. I've been watching you. I'm sure you can do it. Please, Hannah, I need you. Only you. Did he want me to be Juliet? At least come see what I've been working on. Please, Hannah. Well, if it's just that, then sure. I'll come and see, I guess. Oh, Hana, thank you so much. You're darling, darling. John flung his arms around my neck, just as quickly let go. I glanced away to hide my face, sure I was turning pink. Awesome, this'll be great. Meet me after school in the theater. I've got everything prepared for you. Yeah, great. Well, now that that's settled, come on, Hana, let's go to lunch. He hustled out of the room with a bird-like grace. I stared after him. It was like a whirlwind just left. He honestly reminded me a lot of Mai. You coming, Hana? He poked his head around the corner. Yeah, he might have been spending too much time with that bird. Man, that test today was brutal. I totally bombed it. I failed miserably. PPG held up his paper. There was a big red F at the top. John winced and slowly raised his own failed exam. The two laughed and high-fived. Hey, it's not a big deal. I'll just retake it later. I had way better things to do than study. I never thought I'd pass. Gerard and I did wonderfully. Most of our homeroom did. Maybe your teacher teaches differently? Nope, I got an 89, so it's not Miss Shizuka. These two are just massive idiots. I nodded. I didn't feel like admitting to my 93, not after seeing how badly John and PPG did. Wow, that's awesome, Shane. It's like your mind is just made for facts. You totally deserve it. Did you get your 97 raised, Gerard? That's not like you at all, Gerard. Gerard laughed sheepishly. Yeah, I got my 100. To be fair, I would have gotten 100 like normal, but one of the questions could be answered in two ways. I told the teacher and he changed my score accordingly. I think he got a couple of points too, Satch. You had to have that 100, didn't you? Did you get a completion bonus? I gotta take a lot of crap from you guys. It's more than enough to make it worth it. I smiled alongside them, still feeling somewhat out of my element. Shane's comments hung over my head even now, but I didn't think there was much I could do about it. Before class, I quickly filled Maya in on John's proposition. I'm kind of worried about it. Are you kidding, Hana? He wants you to be Juliet. And he'll be Romeo. Oh, that's so romantic. He's totally hitting on you. I don't know, Mai. I'm not really an actress. I'm bad at the limelight. There's no way he wouldn't have noticed that, and I doubt he's hitting on me either. Hana, get a grip on yourself. You're one of the nicest people I've ever met. Any guy would be lucky to have you. That's why you're my best friend. I mean, why else would he make such a big deal out of it? He did seem upset. You might have a point. John is Romeo and me is Juliet. It was corny, but kind of cute. Visions of myself and John in period clothes and sweeping across the stage floated through my mind. Spotlights glistened in his hair. He leaned in towards me. On guard. No! Ah, Romeo, my love. Juliet, this isn't how the story was supposed to go. Romeo. Whoa, what's wrong? Nothing. Sorry. Is class over? Yeah, you're going to the theater, right? After that daydream, it was hardly like I had a choice. I'll see you back at the dorms. Okay, bye. It's okay, Hana. You can do this. The theater is here, right? The door opened into a gorgeous room with the bright red seats. John was down on the stage, his arm flung to the ceiling. Doth thou protestations relinquish mine feminine? Nay. Nay! Jacques, you have to have a little more intensity. Don't you want to be famous? Nay. Why, you little... Excuse me? Hana, his voice shot up several octaves. Come in, come in, come in! He leapt up the stairs, grabbed me by the hand, and pulled me into the room. I wasn't sure you were going to come. Thank you so much, Hana. You were really the only person I could trust to do this. About that, John, I don't know about this. I'm really not an actress. There's no way I could be Juliet. He stopped pulling me. Who said anything about Juliet? Didn't you? No, that wasn't the part you wanted to talk to me about. Oh, no, of course not. You're right. You're not suited to be Juliet at all. Ouch. Seriously. Here I'm backstage, returning with a large inflatable bag. Actually, I wanted you to be... Drumroll, please, Jacques. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He tossed the bag on the stage. The crumbled plastic unraveled, revealing... a tree! A tree. You're perfect for the part. You're so shy and quiet, and you have an impressive ability to stand still for long periods of time. The other day in class, you stared into space for almost 20 minutes straight and didn't move a muscle. Oh, of course. Why would he want me to play a lead role? It was obvious I wasn't cut out for that kind of thing. Wanting to play the Romeo to my Juliet. How ludicrous. What's wrong? Of course I wouldn't be able to play Juliet. No one would think I could do that. Well, it's not that you can't. But John wasn't trying to be mean. He just didn't seem to get that it was insulting. I'll think about it, okay? But I think I'm gonna go for now. If you say so, be sure to give me your answer soon. I'm so ready for this. It's gonna be the best play yet, especially with Jacques as our Juliet. I love you. Oh, that's so cute. Goodbye, John. See you later, Hannah. Oh, poor Hannah. How awful was that? I shut the door to the dorm room, wanting nothing more than to collapse into my bed. Hey, Hannah. Ma was laying on her bunk upside down, her red hair spilling over the side. Something glinted in her hands. What are you doing? I'm cutting out little blossoms, see? She held a pink cherry blossom to the ceiling. It's so your senpai will notice you. What are you even talking about? You know, senpai always notices the girl when she's outside, surrounded by a shower of cherry blossom petals, the wind blowing in her hair. Your guy will definitely notice you with these. A flash of anger ripped through me. Why don't you just save them for yourself? Jared will never notice you without them. No, it's so mean. I turned on my heel and stalked out of the dorm room. No. It's because of stuff like that that I thought John was trying to... No, stupid me to imagine it could happen in the first place. I stepped out to the front of Poppy Hall, the crisp evening air wafting against my face and cooling my skin. A faint tinge of smoke threaded its way into my hair, reminding me of the day spent cooking with my father. How stupid. I headed for the field, my stomach sinking with every step. I shouldn't have snapped at Mai. None of this was her fault. And she was being so nice to me, and I said that awful thing to her. She was never going to want to be my friend again. I stopped at a tree and leaned against it. The sun was rapidly setting, the night air growing colder and colder. Although I was shivering, I didn't want to go back inside. There was no way I could face Mai after what happened. What a terrible person I was. I sat down and hugged my knees, pressing my head into my arms. I stayed that way for a long time, trying not to pay attention to what was going through my head. The wind picked up, roaring past me, whipping my hair against my skin. It was so loud I didn't hear the footsteps until they were right next to me. I looked up. Mai, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have snapped at you. I was just upset because I thought John wanted me to be Juliet, but it turns out he wants me to be a tree. I shouldn't have cared so much about it. I'm really just an awful person. Mai let out a peal of laughter. That John, he doesn't mean anything by it. But that is something he would do. He's nice, but he can be a little clueless sometimes. She sat next to me and wrapped an arm around my shoulders. Together we huddled against the rough bark of the oak tree, somewhat sheltered from the wind. You remember what Shane said about my hair? Maya's arm tightened around me. I've been on edge ever since. I don't know how to face them, even when they're being nice. I'm so afraid they hate me. I'm sorry I'm such a coward. Well, it's okay. We're all cowards sometimes. Maybe we should just approach our problems directly instead of coming at them from the side with flowers and friendship. You want to join the Normal Boots Club, don't you? Yes. Well, I want to date Jared. Neither of these will happen if we keep avoiding the stuff that makes us nervous. Yeah. If we want something, we should go get it. We shouldn't... Look, just because we're used to waiting for things to happen to us doesn't mean that they're always going to if we're just patient enough. Hannah, if you want to join the Normal Boots Club, you have to keep moving forward, strongly, without fear, without looking back, right? Yeah. And the same goes for you, Mai. Yeah, it does. I rested my head on my shoulder, thankful that she was taller than my paltry 5'2". She lay her head on top of my own. I think I'm going to try harder. Nothing good came out of me avoiding my problems. And being a coward. I can't keep running away, or else eventually I'm going to run out of places to go, and then I'll break. If I really want to make a new life at Asagao, I have to try. I'm going to be my best self, and be myself. I'm going to actually try. Who knows, maybe Shane will warm up to me eventually. Mai pulled me closer into a hug. That's the spirit. Now what do you say we get inside? It's freezing. Yeah, let's. And thank you, Mai. Mai smiled at me. No, thank you. Let's go. Cute. Quickly, there's only 2 minutes left. Giant yellow letters ballooned on my phone screen, blocking several falling cubes and preventing me from making more combos and deploying more troops. Damn it, get out of the way! A small yellow plush with a great smiley face waved a sword, and the big bad giant came rushing out of the castle. Smiley man, so we meet again. What are you doing? You lose. No. Sorry. Ian, the brutal moose of yore, stood over my shoulder, peering at my phone. What do you want? Yeesh, touchy, aren't we? What are you doing playing such a boring game anyway? Nothing. I was waiting for mine. I was bored. To tell the truth, I was practicing. That game's similar to the one that's going to be in the tournament, right? You lost pretty quickly. It doesn't seem like you're any good. He looked at my phone again and froze. I glanced back at the screen. My score was still slowly totaling, speeding over the 100,000 range. Holy crap, how'd you do that? Do what? Your score. That's incredible. How long have you been playing this game? I'd never seen Ian so animated, if you ask me. I'd almost say he cared about what was happening. I guess 2 weeks, maybe? Only 2 weeks. He put his hand to his chin and thought. If you're this good at the game, you might be able to learn to play the one for the tournament. What are you suggesting? He glared at me. We both know you'd love to join the Nuremberg Club, and they need someone to fill puzzle games during the tournament. You need to join the team. I gazed at him, trying to read his face. Could he be pulling my leg? It was possible that I was actually much worse than average, and he wanted me to join the team to drag down their score. A dirty move, but I wasn't sure Ian would do it if given the chance. Ian sighed. Look, at least give it some thought. That was impressive, and I wouldn't mind having some competition for once. He turned on his heel and ambled to his seat. What was that about? I told her what just happened. Really? He thinks you have what it takes? That'd be awesome, wouldn't it, Hannah? Isn't this exactly what you wanted? I guess. Not everyone's so enthusiastic about having me on the team, though. Shane's glaring face passed through my mind. I'm sure if you proved yourself, it would be all right. What are you going to do? I'm going to try. Even if I fail, I'm going to work hard and give it my best. And maybe I can even make Shane and the others accept me. Now's not the time for me to sit around and wonder what else I can do. There's my girl. Oh, Hannah, you're catapulting through the sky like a shooting star. Bless. And what are you going to do next? Talk to them? An image of myself going head-to-head with Shane flickered through my mind. Maybe not just yet. Sensing my unease, I shrugged. Well, don't worry about it too much. Ian's part of Hidden Block, after all. It wouldn't help him to have competition. And besides... Shizuka stalked in, looking furious. Turned to page 394. And that was the end of that. Finally, class was over. I gathered my bags and joined Maya as she headed to the door. Hana... Shane stood before me, shifting from foot to foot. Can I speak to you? A lump formed in my throat. What did he want now? Sure, Maya, go on ahead. If you say so. With the worried tone in her voice, Maya left us alone. Shane waved me out of the classroom and into a nook next to the window. It came to my attention that I perhaps said something that perhaps I should not have said, and that perchance I may have possibly bothered you in some such fashion as cause of my words that I said. I'm sorry. Yes, exactly. What? I'm sorry for what I said about your hair. My heart skipped a beat. How did you know I heard that? She came to my room last night and tore my ear off. Oh my. The chagrin quickly turned into gratefulness. How many other girls would go to one of the most popular guys in school and chew him out because it was mean to her friend? Especially when I wasn't even supposed to hear it. I hope you can forgive me. A weight lifted from my shoulders. Oh no, I'm really happy. Thank you so much for apologizing to me. To be honest, I've been worrying about this for a while now. So I'm glad you've changed your mind. I didn't say that. I deflated. Look, it's not really about you. Or in a way it is, but you can't really help that. Is that supposed to make me feel better? Never mind. Look, you have to come with me. I have a surprise. Following Shane around was not something I would particularly like to do, especially considering what just happened, but, okay. Shane grabbed my wrist and led me down the hallway. I could probably have followed him just as well without his needing to do that, but there were worse things in the world. Before long, we wound up in front of the Normal Boots club room. What is this? Without saying a word, Shane opened the door and led me in. Inside, the entirety of Normal Boots was waiting, along with the sullen-faced Ian. Well, it looks like my work is done. Goodbye. He brushed past me as PPG began to laugh. Thanks, man. See you in the tournament. So, Hannah, I bet you're wondering why Mr. Stoic brought you here. A little bit, yeah. As you know, there's a tournament that happens each year in early spring. This year, the tournament is about a month and a half. We each compete in various events. It used to be an easy win, but with Hidden Block around, things changed. We want to keep our competitive edge. Something happened last year that made it so we no longer have someone competing in the puzzle category. I stand by my decision. So we need someone to take John's place. I don't understand. We all have different categories we're entering into. Half of us have jobs or other clubs that we're busy with. We can't exactly take more on. For example, I compete in the invention and game design category. I play retro games, get a higher score than the other fellow by the end of the level, that kind of thing. I play pinball on the machines that the arcade provides. It's the same thing, really. Shane does Mario Kart racing, at least he will this year. I do completion speedruns, so I gather and accomplish everything in a game as fast as possible. It's just as draining as it sounds. We compete in tag team 80s and 90s arcade beat-em-ups. Specific, I know. And I dance. Oh my goodness. We each have our own fields, and we can't take the time to learn a new one. So Ian told us how good you are at Dumbadoom's Revenge. He suggested you enter the tournament as a member of the Normal Boots Club. Really? Why on earth would he do that? He's won that event every year he's gone to school in this district. He wants a little challenge this time around. Just because we're rivals doesn't mean we're not friends. Anyways, we voted on whether you should join the club, and, well, long story short, we've got a compromise. You enter the tournament, and if you win, you get to join the Normal Boots Club. If you lose, well, you don't have what it takes. What do you say? This was amazing. This is exactly what I wanted. This was my chance. But I don't know. If I lost, didn't that mean I would lose their friendship too? I'd be a laughing stock, and I'd be left alone again. Hold on. Where did you come from? You should accept. But where did you even come from? Exactly. Don't you remember what you told me? No more giving up. Yeah, I do. Okay, I'm going to try. And that was how I got the opportunity to join the Normal Boots Club. If I could win my event for the tournament, I would officially join the team. If I didn't, the club would be more likely to lose the tournament, and I wouldn't get to stick around. It was scary, but if I succeeded, it would be worth it. I couldn't sleep at all that night, so when morning came, I put on my uniform and headed to class early. For once I was eager for the mundane classroom environment. I hoped it would still my racing thoughts and help me come to my terms with my amazingly good fortune. Therefore, I was sitting at my desk, falling slowly asleep, when a hand slammed upon its surface. Listen up. Ah, jeez! I scooted my chair away from my desk. Shane glared at me. If you are really competing with us in the tournament, and I still can't believe that's happening, then you had better not let us down. He pulled out the chair in front of my desk and sat down. Let's talk strategy. What? Do you think practice will pull you through the tournament? Despite knowing that it was probably the wrong answer, I nodded. Wrong! Rather than practice, you need strategy. I could hardly believe my eyes. Shane, the normally quiet, wary, barely speaking Shane, who's suddenly on fire and preparing to give me a full lecture on video game strategy. Did this mean my good fortune was over, or... Pay attention. I snapped up straight and scooted my chair to my desk. Yes, sir. Strategy isn't something you can just study, and it isn't something you only start thinking about when you're playing your game. Strategy is always. Repeat after me. Strategy is always. Strategy is always? Slammed his hand on the desk again. With feeling. Strategy is always. Good. You know what this means? That you're creeping me out. In your daily life, you can make your choices willy-nilly like an absolute idiot, or you can make smart, intelligent choices. You can make choices like a winner. Sometimes these go against what we want in the moment. Someone strategizing for a diet would have to pick not to eat a second serving, even if they want to, even if they're hungry. It's not always what you want, but it's what you got to do, understand? I think, he nodded, seemingly satisfied. The more you strategize in your daily life, the better your mind will get when trying to strategize in-game. Gaming isn't just fun, gaming is life. He leaned forward, staring me down. Strategy is always. Shane grabbed the bottom of his chair and scooted frantically away, his mission apparently accomplished. He sat at his desk across the room, pulling out a sketch pad and drawing pencils. Then, face calm as ever before, he started to draw. How is it the same Shane I've seen for all these weeks? If he heard me, he didn't respond. I turned back to my desk, once again wide awake, Shane's words repeating in my head. Strategy is always. Oh, hey, it's almost time for the flower festival. With everything happening so quickly, it felt almost like it snuck up on me. Have you decided who you're taking yet? I, right, I had to go with someone to the festival, but who could I ask? The only guys I knew were the members of the Normal Boots Club. Would they want to go with me? And which one should I go with? John was kind and caring, but I was a bit worried he cared too much about Jacques and the play to notice anything else. PBG was so easygoing, but something about the way he looked at me still bothered me. Satch was mature and really smart, but he seemed hard to get close to. Or was I imagining that? Then there was Shane, who, let's be honest, he hated me. There was no way he'd say yes. But then again, he'd started to warm up to me. Paul, of Continue, popped into my head too, but the last few times I hung around him, he caused major destruction. Gerard was so caring and friendly, but I wasn't sure he was interested in me in that way. And there was Jared too, but I looked at my... I couldn't do that, could I? Well, Alright, I've been thinking about this for a while, y'all, and going to pick PBG. I picked PBG. Mai nodded. That is going to be hell adorable, let me tell you. I know he can be a bit silly, but PBG, when he cares about something, he truly cares. He'll be good to you. It's just one date. Sure. Well, go on. What? Go and get your man. Wait, you mean now? Yeah! Mai hit me on the back and practically shoved me towards the door. As I began to leave, my legs turning to jelly. Small pink blobs filled my vision. What? Go! Mai was tossing cherry blossom petals over my head. Go get Senpai to notice you. Mai beamed at me. No time to talk, Honda. This is going to be your big day. You're a main character. Unless you messed up really badly, I'll definitely get a good answer. I've messed up a lot, though. Just go! With a final shove, I was out the door. Now, where would I find him? Of course, PBG is at the soccer field practicing like a madman. I shouldn't have expected anything less. I approached him from the side, shouting to be heard over the sound of balls being kicked in the goal. Excuse me, PBG? PBG, hello? Oh, Hana. Go! Hey, I guess so. He laughed and ran to meet me on the side of the field. What's up? Well, as you know, the Flower Festival is tomorrow. Oh, yeah, it is. His eyes widened with the realization, and he looked at me as if seeing me for the first time. He slowly turned red. So, what brings you here with that information? He couldn't look me in the eyes, and my self-consciousness was mounting. Well, you know, I guess people will go to the festival together, so... Well, yeah, they do, don't they? He laughed loudly, too loudly. Yeah, so, if we could go together, that would make me really happy. I trailed off, staring at the ground, my heart drumming like an engine. This was awful. I couldn't even look to see what kind of reaction Whoa! PBG picked me up and spun me around in circles. I grabbed onto his shoulders to keep from being flung from his arms. Of course I'll go with you. I'm so glad you asked. Really? Of course, there isn't anyone I'd rather spend it with. Oh, he sat down and beamed at me. Well, good. All I'll say, this is great. I got asked by a girl. This is the best day of my life. Oh, geez, I had to get out of here. My heart couldn't take it. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Oh, it's so cute. With that, I ran away. No, I love it. I woke up late the next morning, the day of the flower festival. I was buzzing with anticipation, but because of that, it took me forever to wake up. It was almost noon, and I rubbed my eyes as I arose. Hey there, sleepyhead. Ugh, good morning. You slept even later than I did. That's impressive, Hana. I sat up in bed, and something on the edge of my desk caught my eye. What's that? Oh, that? A letter for you. Came in the mail this morning, so I just said it. I scrambled out of bed and in my desk chair, ripping open the letter. Whoa, geez, calm down. It's not going anywhere. Turning away from her, I started to read. Little Blossom, how have you been doing these past few weeks? I'm sorry I haven't found the time to write. Your pa's been working hard lately, and I seem to go right to sleep when I get home. I know things were difficult for you here, and I only hope that you're having a better time where you are now. It isn't the same without you here. I miss your cheeriness and watching TV with you, and most of all your pink hair bobbing around the kitchen. Hana, I know you feel bad about the pressure this must be putting on me, but don't. I do this because I love you. There's nothing I want more in this world than your happiness. I miss you, Hana. Be strong. Your Papa. Oh, it's so sad. My hands trembled, tears filled my eyes. I hadn't written to him since arriving at Asagao. As many times a day as crossed my mind, I'd just been too busy with other things. He must be worried sick, and from the sounds of things, he was also depressed. I missed my father. I missed my home. I missed helping him. If it wasn't around to cook him breakfast, he almost never ate. He kept saying it was fine, but he was getting older, without Mom there to take care of him. Hana, are you okay? I wiped my eyes on my sleeve. Yeah, I'm fine. I miss my dad. I picked up the pencil and paper and began to write, trying hard to block out the tears. Eventually, mine turned to her own work and let me be. Dad, I'm doing really great here. This has been the best change of my life. I have a best friend, and I might join a club. I even have a date. You sacrificed so much to bring me here. I know I hardly gave you any choice with the way things were going. I was spoiled and ungrateful, but you always did whatever was necessary for me. I miss you so much, but thank you. I know this was a huge sacrifice. Please eat well and take care of yourself. Remember, 2 glasses of water in the morning and 1 before bed. And have breakfast. Scrambled eggs are easy to make. Draw a smiley face on them with ketchup, just like I would do if I was there. I'll send my love through that, so make sure you do it. I miss you. And tell Mom happy birthday. Oh, no. So sad. I stood in front of the dorm that night, feeling awkward in my yukata. Students passed by me on the other side, laughing and chatting anxiously away. A dim red glow grew on the horizon, a bonfire at the festival. The excitement thrumming through the air made me squeamish. Hey! I jumped. You're here! I am! I smiled at PBG as my tension melted away. With PBG here, everything would be okay. I wasn't sure why I felt that way, but I did. Ready to go? More than ready. Together we walked down the path on the way out of campus. I haven't actually been off campus since school started. Really? I've been off campus for a few soccer-related things, but otherwise I haven't either. There's not much going on around here, though. The festival is the biggest thing. As we walked, something struck me as odd. He looked different. You're not wearing your jacket. No, I have an extra shirt on. You look really different in normal clothes. Yeah, well, you look really different in your yukata. Good different. You're super cute. His ears turned pink and I laughed. Thank you. Oh. As we approached the edge of the festival, an outpouring of drums, laughter, and the calls of people running stalls cascaded into the night. So what do you want to do first? I don't really know what there is to do here. Stalls lined the sides of the street. Higginbana, where Asagao was located, was a very tiny town, but everyone pitched in for the festival. Restaurant owners pitched their staples, as well as experimental new foods, cotton candy-covered chicken, fried butter, sugar-crusted yams. Painters and sculptors showcased their latest works of art, ranging from vases and cups and paintings of flowers to artistic nudes, genie work, and life-sized replicas of the town founder. Then there was the standard festival games, picking a balloon from underwater using only metal hook attached to a paper handle, fishing for goldfish with paper hoops, shooting bottles glued to where they stood. Festival games weren't really fair, were they? Presented with so many choices, I simply asked for what came to mind. How about Asagao's stall? Oh yeah, why don't we go see how things are over there? PBG led the way through the crowd, and I tried to stay close behind. It was easy at first, but when we came to the main square, the throng of bodies grew thick. I'm so damn short I couldn't see anything beyond the bodies. PBG's brown hair disappeared in front of me, and I was shoved between backs, butts, and elbows. Excuse me, please. A woman in pink yukata next to me rolled her eyes and stepped to the side, so I had space to breathe, but which way did PBG go? I couldn't see him anywhere. Okay, calm down. Just, where was the Asagao stall? It was on the east side, right? But I couldn't tell which direction was which. The stalls contained much of the same things on either side. Which way was east? Even the sun was gone, or at least blocked out by the light from the bonfire. What would I do? Ow! A man elbowed me in the cheek and my eyes watered. I hated being short. I needed some place to sit down and gather my thoughts, but I was so lost. Don't cry. Don't panic. Hana, PBG? Bopping up and down a few feet in front of me. He was jumping to see over the crowds. Hey, I'm right here. I see you. I'm coming. 3 leaved carry shoved unsuspecting people to the side as I made my way to him. Hana, what the hell? Sorry, Mimi. Not sorry. No. Hana, PPG, I'm so glad to see you. I rushed to him, clinging to the side of his waist. I was so scared when someone hit me in the face. Really? He peeled me off of him and hunched over to look at my cheek. Oh, I think I can see Bruce coming along. We'll ask for ice at one of the stands, okay? Here, take my hand and don't let go. I nodded and took his hand. Oh, he's so cute. As we moved through the crowd, he kept his arm stiff to his side. It was like we were part of the same body. Oh. PPG was oddly reliable. He hadn't struck me as that kind of person. Not after the project we did together, or oversleeping and missing class. But when you needed him, he came for you. I guess there was a reason he was one of the founding members of Normal Boots. Oh, thank God. With the gasp of relief, we pulled out of the crowd and into one of the side roads. Asagao stall is this way, and we can ask one of the drink vendors for some ice. I'm so glad to be out of there. Me too. I hate large crowds of people. It's just so hard to breathe. It's hard to treat people like they're people when there's so many. I nodded. Out here, there was no reason to continue holding hands. I expected PBG to let me go, but instead he pulled me along down the street. Did he realize we were still holding hands? I glanced up at him, but he was focused on searching the stalls in front of him. Though his ears were a little pink. Was he stressed? But wait, more importantly, I wasn't pulling away either. PPG was... Was this a date? Was this a real date? Shouldn't I know this? I was wanting to ask him. Maybe I should do something to know I was way or the other. But what should I do? Did I want it to be a date? I mean, it's technically a date. It's a flower festival date. But is it a romantic date? Why didn't I think about this before? Excuse me, can we have some ice? She got hurt. PPG was talking to a redhead-haired girl at one of the stalls. Wait, Kakusu? Affirmative. Ice will be delivered. What was the happenstance behind this? Some guy just up and elbowed her in the face. He didn't even do anything about it. That is awful. I know, right? Who does that? How can you not feel when your elbow slams into somebody? I guess there's a lot going on, but still. You are a supportive individual. This time PPG's face turned red. Well, anybody would do that. Kakusu, what are you doing at this stall? Hello, Hana. Don't you have a date? Oops. I glanced at PPG, who was staring at Kakusu, who was trying to memorize her every movement. My family owns a restaurant out here. I'm supporting their efforts. Huh, that makes you a supportive individual. Kakusu turned to look at him blankly, then opened her mouth. Ha, ha, ha. Your attempt at humor is charming. As Kakusu opened a plastic bag and started shoveling ice inside, PPG leaned down near me. This girl is really weird. Did you not notice? She's always been this way. Don't worry about it. She likes you. Does she? Here is your ice, human. Thank you, human. He really didn't notice. Kakusu beamed at him. That is wonderful. We are friends now. Allow us to be friends. Yeah, sure, we're friends. Kakusu has made a friend. Kakusu is supportive human. Kakusu has been successful today. Let's get out of here. Bye, Kakusu. Goodbye, friends. We pulled into the edge of an empty-looking stall where PPG held the bag of ice up to my face. The freezing cold and rigid plastic stung my skin, but he held it up to me as if handling a butterfly. I can hold it myself. It doesn't seem to be swelling too much. That's good. You don't need to worry. It's not that bad. I don't even feel it when we talk. Yeah, but we don't want it to get any worse. Quit worrying. He nodded, but didn't seem to hear me. I grinned at him. Give me that. I reached up to grab the bag and grabbed his hand instead. He let go and the bag fell to the ground with a soft thud. Oh, sorry. No, it's... God, why was it suddenly so awkward? This wasn't a... Or was it a date? Which did I want, for heaven's sake? I grabbed the bag and put it up to my face. Look, they have taiyaki! He left for the stall without waiting for me to follow. I dashed to catch up. His legs were longer than mine, so it took me 2 steps for his every one. I was practically jogging next to him. Slow down! What? Oh, sorry. He eased his pace, and I walked in place next to him. This is awkward. You gonna say something? We reached the stall, and he bought 2 of the fish-shaped pastries, handing one to me. Thanks. So, should we continue to Asagao's stall? We turned and started walking in silence again. Okay, now it was really awkward, but I didn't think it was because of me. PPG fidgeted and kept staring into space. He almost tripped over the same kid twice. Something was on his mind now, but what? Are there fireworks at this festival? What? Are you okay? PPG stopped walking and looked at me, his face contorted. What's wrong? Are you feeling all right? I'm fine. There's something I want to talk to you about. I glanced ahead. The Asagao stall was only 2 stalls down. I could see Mai's red hair appear and disappear from under the covers. She could wait. Sure, what's up? Well, he began to walk again, and I fell into step beside him. Did I look familiar to you when we first met? Did he? The first day I walked into the Asagao classroom, didn't seem like I had seen him somewhere before. Wait, I think you did. Really? So you'll believe me when I tell you we've met before, right? He looked familiar, but he was also a tall guy with brown hair. There were plenty of those around. I sighed. I'm sorry. I can't remember. He stared at the ground. It's okay. It was a long time ago. When you first showed up in class, you looked exactly like this girl I used to play with when I was little. She would come over to my house and we'd play video games together. Then you mentioned something like that at the stomp match, so I stopped walking. There was a little boy from my past, but, well, ever since the accident. Accident? When I was 11, I bumped my head getting out of the shower. I spent 3 days in the hospital with amnesia. Most of my memories came back in a few weeks, but the memories of the boy I used to play with, only a few of those came back. Still, I can't remember his name or his face. So, if I am the little girl from your past, he cleared the distance between us, taking both my hands in his own. I know you're her. You're Hana. You were my best friend when we were little. You would only use the blue controller for the Nintendo 64 because you said it gave you powers like a Power Stranger. And you made me use the green one because you said it matched my eyes. I stared up at him for a long time, searching his face. There was something about him that was familiar, something that made me feel oddly at home. But if the memories were lost somewhere inside of me, they were too far gone for me to reach. I'm sorry. Your favorite game was Screw You, Pikachu. We would take turns making up insults and making him dance, and we'd call him Rodrigo. You'd cry when I hit the chickens in Kukuriko Village when we played Zelda. I know it's you. I shook my head, the guilt knotting itself in my stomach. Slowly hit go of my head, dropping his arms to his side in defeat. PPG. No, I want you to call me by my real name. Your real name? He clenched his fist. My real name is Peanut Butter Gamer. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. I took a step back and looked at him again. Oh my gosh, Peanut Butter Gamer. Are you serious? That messy mop of hair, the slightly tired puppy dog look in his eyes, the narrowness of his face, the days I spent over at his house, walking to school together in the mornings, the time I pushed him out of my tree. It all came rushing back. Oh my god, Peanut Butter Gamer, I remember now. You do? Oh my god, you're so different. So are you. You were always the loud adventurous one when we were little, so when you first showed up in class, I wasn't sure that it was you. But as you opened up, I began to see more of the Hana I remembered. I'm so sorry. I was treating you like a complete stranger this whole time. PPG waved a hand. It's no problem. Amnesia, it happens. You were so important to me when we were little. You were my best friend. You meant so much to me. I was so sad when you left, and you never wrote me or anything. I lost your address when we moved, and I didn't have your email address. I only remembered your first name, so I couldn't even look you up. It's good to see you again. Yeah, it is. We laughed, and I beamed at him. I couldn't believe it. He was so different now. He was tall and brave and athletic. But he was still the same PPG from when we were kids, always thinking of others and inconveniencing himself to make sure they were okay, even down to his crazy obsession with soccer. So, I'm the reason you like video games, huh? I flushed. Well, I might have exaggerated a little bit. Don't even. We can be friends again. We are friends again. We're friends again. Yeah, friends again. You have to tell me about everything that happened after you left. Everything. I got into his arm and jumped up and down. Okay, but first, do you want some more food? I'm still kind of hungry. We never made it to the Asagao stall. We walked past it several times and Mai winked at me every time. Instead, we caught up over ramen and takoyaki, talking about his move, my mother's death, and what our lives were like since we last saw each other. Even as the festival ended and PPG walking back to the dorm, there was still so much I didn't know. But I was happy. I was so happy. PPG stopped in front of the dorm, an odd look on his face. Hey, instead of heading in, do you want to come hang out? I have to go record PB&J, but maybe you'd like to sit in? I'd love to. All right. Well, it's been almost an hour. I will see you guys next time.